Welcome to Fit to Be Real.
And a little extra.
Carly has shockingly decided on today's topic because Carly is the worst communicator in the world.
I communicate that I agree with that. Does that help?
You're using it wrong. We are talking about communication and assertiveness, which we both struggle with to a degree.
I think you're better at assertiveness than I am. Don't you think? You get your point across pretty well.
It depends. If I'm stressed or if I'm like overwhelmed, then I can't. It's for anybody that's hard to articulate.
Yeah.
Like if you're in the middle of something.
Yeah, I get aggressiveness and assertiveness confused.
Yes.
In my mind.
And well, where else would it be? Wait a second. We need to know what else you have.
Okay, no, that's it.
Even when you or someone else is assertive, you think it's aggressive.
Right. I immediately take it as aggressiveness. And then therefore I am not assertive because I don't want people to think I'm aggressive.
But they're very different. And we're going to talk about that because it's very, very important. I also want to point out that Carly wanted to do the episode on grudges and fighting and now communication and assertiveness. So there's so much happening here.
I'm trying to better myself.
I appreciate it.
I'm assertive.
Nope.
Doesn't work. All right, we'll figure it out.
You're an ass.
Mom. Victoria used a bad word.
ASS. I'm sorry. I'm Victoria.
Hey guys, I'm Carly. Listen, I am known to be the worst communicator in the family, I think. I am not good at it.
Why?
Instead of communicating, I just ignore.
Yeah, why?
I don't know. I avoid, not ignore. It's there. I avoid it.
Why?
I don't know. Ask me again.
Are you going to yell at your therapist when they say, why, Carly? Jeez.
I don't know. If I knew, I'd be better. Right?
Well, that's not true. Necessarily.
I think you are a way better communicator than I am. You get your point across and everybody knows how you're feeling. I think I don't express myself well.
I like how hard it was for you to say that.
So I don't like to think anything bad about myself.
But that's okay. And that's what we're going to talk about because all of your thoughts are wrong. And I would venture to say I wasn't always articulate and anything like that. I had a wall. Yes, you could always tell my emotion because I couldn't hide my face.
You can't hide your face.
I still can't hide my face.
I can very well hide my face.
You can. Yeah. Yes, absolutely. That's why people think you are nicer and happier and I don't know, kinder.
Yeah. If you went to Victoria's class last night, you would not agree.
But I smiled the whole time. My mom always said to me, if looks could kill.
Oh my God, you're right. Ew, that just came back to me.
That's all she would say to me. And it's true because I can't hide it on my face, which is a filter I need to work on sometimes. Sometimes you have to work on that. But because we're going to talk about body language and expressions, and that's a big piece of communication. I think as I get older, I'm better at choosing words.
Choose your words wisely.
Yeah. You should just have to pick words.
I just have to pick them.
Yeah. Just say anything.
I just usually give the stare and the smile.
Oh my gosh. When she gets like Jessica Day, reindeer, doe eyes.
Yep.
Just walk away.
Yep.
Walk away.
Yep.
There's so much happening in her head that she's not listening to you. Number one, her own conversation is happening. You're responding in a certain way within her own imagination. And steam is about to come out.
Yep. But you will never know by looking at me. I wish I didn't do that because it definitely creates communication problems and issues because you're like, oh, I thought you were fine with that. And I was like, I looked like I was fine with it.
Well, but that's your issue.
I know. That's what I mean.
Like that turns into like, that's the only fault is to is yours because you weren't direct and like said what you wanted.
Right. Because I hate conflict that much, even if the situation does not call for it, I will create it.
It's interesting because we didn't grow up in conflict.
I know.
And usually what you're describing is a trauma response to being surrounded by conflict.
No.
And that's not how it was.
I know. I honestly would have to Victoria deep dive into that because I don't know.
Victoria, I don't like my name attached to that. I'm sorry. I just had a moment. I don't like the Victoria deep dive title. Not a fan.
I'm sorry. You say it all the time.
Not a fan. Nope. Redact that right now. Nope. Okay.
I heard it. I said it and I heard it.
At least you were listening. Wonderful. There's a step in the right direction.
No, I want to get better at being authentic and not giving you deer in headlights.
Yeah.
And smiling and being like, oh, wait, no, actually, that's not going to work for me.
Right.
And not feeling like by saying, oh, that's not going to work for me is aggressive. Because it's not.
No, it's assertive.
Right.
You feel guilty to say that.
Correct. Yeah. I feel like it's just easier to go along, even if it's not what I want, because I don't want to feel like I'm being mean.
When the answer is just, no, I don't want to do that.
Right. So I think I want to get better at that. And I know for a fact that I'm a horrible communicator.
How do you and Andrew work?
Because he is a very good communicator.
He is.
He is. No, with me, he is. He's a very good communicator. I know exactly how he's feeling. I know what he wants. I know what he doesn't want. He has no idea what I want or don't want. He's always like, what's that line from the movie? What do you want?
Notebook.
What do you want?
Oh my God, it is
that's
you.
Andrew and that's me.
And she's like,
like sushi, Chinese food. I don't know.
What do you want?
It's not that simple.
What do you want?
But no, he's a good communicator. I am not. I will just ignore. Like if you ever
ignore, shut down, and like
and
defend.
Exactly. If we are in a fight, which we've been known to have, there have been days where I just don't even speak to him. I cannot talk to him for 3 days. And he will go about his day and he's like, this is amazing. She's not talking to me. It's been harder to do that with kids because we like have to talk. But back in the day when we would fight, I would just give him the silent treatment.
Carly, that's horrible.
I know.
Like that is toxic.
What's that meme where it's like, you know it's bad while you're doing it, but you're already so deep into it, you can't get yourself out of it. And you're like, well, I've gone this long. I might as well keep going because can't go back now.
Yeah.
I've dug myself into this hole. Now I've got to make sure he apologizes first because I've already gotten myself in.
Oh my God.
I know. I'm not like that to that extent anymore since we've had kids. But.
I would like to take a moment of silence for Andrew. Shh. I took a moment for you, Andrew. All right. Effective communication, because communication is fine on its own, but effective communication is what we are talking about today. And there's verbal, which we struggle with. Nonverbal, which is body language, facial expressions, what I talked about before. Pausing, which is like if you're not responding right away, that's a form of communication in a good way. It doesn't have to be a bad way, like taking that moment, step back that we talked about before. Who knows how many episodes ago. And eye contact. Eye contact is huge communication and a skill that the new generation does not have.
Well, the new generation spends a lot of time working from home alone on their computer. So it's not.
No, the children.
Oh, well, same thing.
Yes, they're on the screens. They can't look you in the eye. I mean, teaching dance is the only time I'm with anybody but my family members, the children in my family. And oh my gosh, the amount of times I have to say, look at me. I'm talking to you. Look at me. Okay. Don't look down. Look at me.
Or
it's insane.
The short attention span. Just yesterday, I was telling them how amazing they were doing. And then they were talking to themselves. And I was like, excuse me, I'm giving you a compliment. Please don't make me take it back.
Oh my gosh, I say that all the time.
I was like, I'm complimenting you when you're having your own conversation.
And they can't look at you. It's wild. It's wild. The communication has completely dropped due to technology and social media.
Yeah.
And then there's a piece of that where you can go, oh, and then there's a piece where it's like, be better. We
Yeah.
need to be better. People that have children,
Be better.
be better.
She-
I'm looking
I was
right
gonna
at you.
say she's looking at me.
The third communication is written. So texting, emails, letters. You know those letters we write?
Oh my gosh, Victoria gets so mad about my texting communication skills.
Oh, it's a joke.
I didn't think you were going to say that.
Oh, it's a joke. It's I know how to do it now, and I get mad at myself when I do it wrong because then I get mad at you, but it's my own fault. If I send you too many questions for you to answer at one time, it's my fault because you're only going to answer the one that you read.
Yeah.
And you're not reading all of them.
But it's not even that. It's that you say my communication through text is mean. And I'm like, no,
That as
that's
well.
how I talk.
It's not, yeah. It does, well, you're not mean. It's the tone is like, ooh.
Right. Because I don't, I read it back and I don't understand how it was mean. It was like, I would have said that to your face. It's like, come at this time. Okay, I'll be there. And you're like, ooh, that was.
No.
Okay, no.
You wouldn't say, okay, I'll be there. If I said show up at 9, you'd go, sure.
Yeah, what's wrong with that?
SURE. Sometimes period, sometimes no period. And I'm like, okay.
I do not see the difference between texting and talking. And
Do you know the difference between responding okay and K?
oh, yes, I do.
Okay. Sure, whatever. Same thing. Your lack of, you have no expression in your text. And here's why, number one, it's okay. It's not a big deal. Like, you do you, but you have to choose your words really wisely. If you're not going to give anyone a sense of like, hey, I'm not actually yelling at you, I'm just being direct with like an exclamation point or like, I don't know, an LOL, which is so stupid, but like an LOL or an emoji to like diffuse the
Lighten
fact
it
that
up.
you're saying something really harsh, but you don't mean it that way.
Uh-huh.
That's fine. We just have to understand that Carly's B.
I am not.
And it's totally fine. However, if you would like to soften things up, which we will talk about, then you would just add a sure, no problem, or sure, exclamation point.
That's so stupid. That's so stupid. Moving on. That's my communication to you. I'm communicating that I think that texting is stupid. I mean what I say, and I say what I mean. I don't feel like I need an emoji.
Because you are a bully behind the screen. She has this sense of puffed out chest because there's a screen in between. If it was in person, she'd be like, yeah, sure. And it's so light and it's normal and it's also who you are. Via text, watch out. Right?
Yeah.
It's true though.
Yeah.
You can be who you want to be on text, but in person, you would never K someone in person unless you meant it of like,
I would never K somebody in person, but I also don't really K someone on text either because I know what that means. And I also am very angry that we're talking about okay and K.
well, that was just to describe, you know, the difference.
Yes, yes.
You know, and I know the difference. And I think everybody listening, like if someone's giving you a K, you're like, ooh, they're mad.
Or thumbs up. Everyone says thumbs up is bad. Like if you just give a thumbs up.
That to me feels dismissive. Like it's like,
But sometimes I do it when I don't have enough time to write and I just go thumbs up.
I would rather you text thumbs up. There's another piece of your lack of communication skills via text besides your dismissive aggressive behavior. Your voice texting. She voice texts and it doesn't understand her. Siri doesn't know what you're trying to say. And sometimes it's a long stream of consciousness.
Because I forget to say period, that I forget to say to Siri period after the sentence because I'm talking.
You have to say period for
Yeah, you have to say period to Siri. You're to be like, I'm on my way right now, period. Blah, 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 blah. Exclamation point. And sometimes I forget that, so it's just a run-on sentence.
Oh my gosh, it's a run-on sentence talking about children she doesn't have.
Jean,
Tina, Diane. And I have to figure out which child is any of those. And oh my gosh, sometimes it's the complete wrong word, not a closeness to the word. It's left field. And then you write back, wait, what? And then she still doesn't actually.
if you ever get a text from me and it's spelled SEA space FIT, it's CFIT. SEA Space FIT.
The nautical version. All right, hold on. We totally got off. But
Okay.
yes. So written communication is any form of writing. Then listening is also a form of communication. Active listening. Not I'm looking at you while you're talking to me, but I'm forming the sentence next or I'm completely distracted and thinking of something else. They're listening.
Mhm.
I actually think it's just as hard as talking.
It definitely is. I'm trying to do it right now.
And then I'm gonna punch you. Then there is visual communication, which I was like, huh? Visual communication. But that's kind of how we live as a society right now. Memes, GIFs, ads, TV. TV is on probably in everybody's house, either for noise in the background. And we don't realize what we're taking in without, just sitting and focusing on the television. If you have it on in the background, like I'm doing t-shirts right now and I have noise to distract me, because sometimes I don't like the AirPod in my ear at all times listening to a podcast.
I think that's bad.
To do it for hours and hours and hours on end. So I have the TV on. And I don't even realize that I'm watching it, but I'm watching it.
Right.
And like if I looked back, I'd be like, yeah, I remember that scene, but I didn't even know I was watching it at the time. And I think that's how we all are when it comes to like when you go to bed with the TV.
That's me.
That's the worst thing you can do, but that's a visual communication. And yes, because it's television, but think of your own Instagram page. Like you're putting out a specific form of communicating who you are to people.
Right.
Sometimes it's fake. We talk about how fake social media is. But like you're putting out how happy you are with your dog and how great it is to be in the sunshine and the grass with your kids frolicking in the field. But you're all fighting and nobody knows that because you're not putting that out.
Right.
Right. I'm making that up. I just made that up.
No.
Carly is not fighting with her children.
No. I was literally not actively listening. I was thinking.
I know. You want to know why? Because she was going, yeah, right. Yeah, right. I knew. Your eyes were glossed over.
I was thinking if my Instagram page actually looked like my life, it would just be Dean talking smack to me and me being like, Dean, get it together. Dean, time out. Lewis, stop crying. Melody, put your eyes away. Like it would be like not what my Instagram actually looks like. It's like, look how cute my kids are.
Melody has the if looks could kill for sure.
So
I like that about
my Instagram is not, nobody's Instagram is actually what it is.
Mine, I stopped. I stopped posting personal stuff unless it really calls. Like I feel like I really want to put something out.
Like your 4 pictures of your dog today.
That was my story.
So yeah, you put that out on Instagram.
Yes, and she's so cute. My sweet little baby angel.
See?
But I mean like posting something permanently on my Instagram feed, I kind of stopped because I didn't want to put one picture of me looking happy when I don't actually feel it.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, I'm fine right now, but like those types of things, I was like, I'm not going to do it unless I really want to do it.
Yeah, she's fine today.
Obviously, those are how we communicate. And I wrote down the entire quote of one thing about effective communication because I was like, oh, it's so true. Effective communication means you are more likely to get what you want.
Yes.
And it doesn't mean in a greedy, superficial, entitled way. It's if you are effective, clear, direct,
I was going to say
and
direct.
respectful, you're going to get what you need and want way more than the back and forth of, oh, that's not what I meant. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, I meant this one. Can I have that? Like it's too much.
Or the constant, I don't want to do this, but I said I would. Well, why did you say you would? Because I didn't communicate that I really didn't want to. I made it seem like I did want to. And now you're complaining about something that you didn't. It's really the power of saying no or the power of saying yes and meaning it.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
You know what I mean? Like people say yes and people say no all the time, but they don't mean it because it's not direct. It's not effective, but it's communication. And I feel like that's me in a nutshell. I say yes all the time or I say no all the time. And I don't actually mean it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's a problem.
Yeah.
You know what I'm thinking while you were talking because I wasn't listening to you?
I could tell.
A Friends episode. And I can't remember the exact details, but I think somebody's asking Phoebe to do something and she was like, oh no, I can't. because I don't want to.
Yeah.
And I remember that because I was like, gosh, I wish I could talk to people like that. But you can. You can say that.
But not to, but to be honest, if somebody said that to me, I would be like, oh. Like there's a way to say it and not be like, oh, I
Yeah, but it's Phoebe Buffay and
Well,
she's
yeah.
just hippie and flighty.
that, yes, that's funny. But like there are those t-shirts that say, oh, sorry, I'm late. I don't want to be here. And I'm like, ugh.
Well, there's assertiveness and being rude are very different.
Yeah.
Very, very different. And that's rude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that's where my lines get crossed, where I'm like, oh, no, sure. I'm so sorry I'm late. And I'm like, under my breath, I'm like, because I don't want to be here. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's passive aggressive.
Yes.
I am passive aggressive.
Passive is the opposite of assertive.
Yes.
Passive.
I am sarcastic. I am passive aggressive. You never know if I'm telling you the truth or not because I could be making a joke, but being completely honest with you. I'm a horrible person.
You're not sounding great. You know, you're not selling yourself well right
I'm
now.
only sarcastic to people that know me.
But you're being honest, and I appreciate that about you. But there's a lot of reasons as to why you wouldn't be a good communicator, and they seem very obvious.
Me or everybody?
The world.
Okay, all right.
But Carly wrote these articles, so. Stress. If you are stressed, your tone is going to come out differently. You're going to be distracted and overwhelmed, and you're not most likely going to be able to listen because of all of those factors. You're also not paying attention, and that goes with stress, but just not paying attention because maybe you have ADHD. Maybe you can't, like,
Focus.
What did you say earlier about the kids? The 5-second rule, the attention span.
Oh my gosh, do you have one right now?
The attention span. Because you can't pay attention, that's a big factor as to why you're not articulating well when
Right.
you're in communication, because you didn't really pay attention to what they said before. So how are you going to be productive there? Body language, crossing your arms is completely closed off and closed-minded, and slouching. And if your feet are pointing towards someone, they're interested. And if they're like giving you basically the side hug type of situation, like that's a completely different communication in body language.
Right.
So all of that plays a factor, as well as facial expressions.
I'm going to side note right now. I actually read that in business school back in the day, they used to teach how to give handshakes because handshakes were that important. The physical communication, that is it's like your first interview.
Are they not now, you think?
No, I doubt it. Nobody's touching anymore, especially after COVID. But this was like back in the day. It was like one of those black and white old school movies.
Yeah.
And the guys were coming up to the teacher, giving the handshake. That was a good one. That was a bad one. You know, like be more
Because
aggressive.
no one wants to shake a limp hand.
Right. But I'm saying that's your first, think about it, like a hug, or if you're hugging somebody or you're handshaking somebody, do you want to be hugging them? You can tell if you do or not.
Right.
Do you want to be shaking their hand? You can tell.
Oh, that's another thing Carly's not good at.
I
Carly
just don't do it.
doesn't like hugging unless you are her child
Yep.
or her husband.
Yeah, I hug Andrew.
Are her child. I don't think I've ever seen you hug Andrew.
I do all the time. No, I hug Andrew.
Never seen that.
If mom sends me one more reel about why hugging is important, I might come for her.
Hugging is very important, and I agree with that. However, energy transfers via touch is a big deal, and I don't let just anybody touch me.
No, that's true.
And I've learned that in the past couple of years. So if you want to hug me, that's fine for you. Happy for you.
That's fine for you.
So happy for your life choices. But I'm not going to do that
Yeah.
unless I feel like it's okay.
Yeah.
Right? And it's not like a consent thing. It's not anything like that. It's like truly, if your energy is off, I do not want you touching me. So it's a piece of that. And if I don't know you, I'm not a hugger to people like I don't know.
Completely opposite. I'm a hugger to people I don't know. If I know you, don't hug me.
There's got to be a pill you can take to change all of this, or a lobotomy or something like that. Okay, continuing. Judging. Judging creates barriers, not boundaries, barriers for your communication skills. So you really want to go into anything with understanding, even if it's a heated type of conversation. But even the regular conversation, we got to eliminate the judgment,
Yeah.
which is really hard, but necessary. Unwarranted, unwanted advice.
This is hard for people who have no awareness of how they sound.
Yeah.
Or how they, not like you should have awareness of how you look to other people, but like unwarranted means
Perception, you mean?
Yes, perception.
Not like
Yeah,
your
Right.
superficial look.
Right.
Yeah, sometimes people just want to talk. And if you have the awareness, in my last relationship, I was like, I have to start asking, do you want my advice? Like, do you want me to help you with something, or do you just want to talk? Because there's such a difference there.
Mm-hmm.
And even if you have good advice, if they don't want it, just sit there and listen. Sometimes people just need an ear and they need to like work it out for themselves.
Right.
And sometimes they need the advice, but you should ask that question first.
Mm-hmm. Andrew is a fixer. So if I'm venting, he's like giving me all the ways to fix it. And I'm like, nope, don't want them. I'm just like,
Well, he can't win, Carly.
I know.
I don't think the man has a chance in hell in any situation. But Carly is like, you are like that. You are, you go in defense mode
Mhm.
with help.
With help, because I don't want anybody to help me. So I'm like, I'm speaking out loud and I'm complaining, but don't give me any advice on how to fix it. I'll do it myself and I'll do it the real hard way, but I don't want any help. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Avoiding concerns is the next one. So,
I can't stop laughing.
if someone's, well, it keeps from crying. If someone is just like right now saying a lot of concerning things, you don't want to avoid them, but you want to be clear and direct in showing concern or asking if you could give some advice. Like, there are just ways to not ignore or dismiss situations. And
Listen,
yeah.
I get it. I think the goal for everybody and myself is just to have the clear path. You know what you want, which is very hard to do a lot of the time. You know what you want. You know where you want to go. How do I get there? I need to be clear. I need to be direct, and I need to know what I want. My brain is Richard Scarry's Busy Town, where there are so many roads and I see the clear one and I can't get there because I have to stop at the Bunny's post office and I have to stop at the Lion's library. And there are just so many ways and I feel like I'm trying to go around them all because I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, that the clear, direct path that I need to get to, I can't get to because I'm trying not to hurt everybody else. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I also liked your alliterations there.
The Lion's library.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you have Busy Town going on in your head at all times, it's hard for you to listen because you are trying to do so many things up there. And it's hard for you to articulate because by the time you figured out the sentence, you're trying to turn the street and then you lose it and you're like, that's not what I meant.
Yeah.
And it gets hard.
And
I
that's
get
how,
that.
yeah, communication is hard when you can't figure out how to get what you want.
We need you to go from Busy Town to like Winnie the Pooh.
A little slower pace.
Not a lot happened.
Not so much
there.
a hustle.
Yeah.
Busy Town is hustling all the time.
Language choice. That's another reason as to why you're probably not a good communicator. Your language choice. And we're going to dive into this a little deeper.
Okay.
With saying I's and you's and we's and us's and stuff like that. It's what you choose to say, not necessarily
Use guys.
no
Like that kind.
Y-O-U's plural.
Right, exactly. Like use guys. We're going to get into this.
Oh my God. So if any of those are you,
Use.
you should think about your choices.
If any of those are use.
They say the first way to be effective in your communication is to ask questions, but open-ended ones, not yes or no ones.
Yes.
No. And that makes a lot of sense because that just means that there's more lines of the
Dialogue.
volley.
Yeah.
And then it would probably most likely the direct answer and, information pass off will come out more clear and then it won't be confusing. Clearer than the sentence I just made. be clear. Eliminate filler words. And that doesn't mean just what are the popular ones like and
Yeah.
It's all words like I mean, you know.
That's not being clear and direct.
Right. Right. And I feel like I there's so many where people are like, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
That is a huge one. I hate that one.
Oh, I thought you were going to say you say that. I was like,
no,
I don't think you do.
I don't say it. I hate hearing it.
Yeah. Because it's like, yes, I do know what you mean. Keep going. Or no, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And if I answer every time you say, you know what I mean, we're going to be talking forever.
Yeah.
Read books. The more you read, the more vocabulary you soak in. And then it will be easier to articulate. Stress management is the next one. Good luck. Proper body language we talked about. Lean forward when you're interested. Don't cross your arms unless you're trying to convey that. So here's one Carly cannot get behind. Silence.
I read avoid using the silent treatment.
Yeah, Carly.
I think silence is very powerful.
Screw that. No, you don't. You hate silence.
I hate silence. But if I'm giving the silent treatment, it's very powerful because it means I'm mad.
Oh my God, I'm so triggered.
Mad. I do it a lot less now because Andrew and I don't really fight about anything except like kids' schedules and stuff like that. But like I used to do it a lot when I was younger. When I was young, I mean, I've been with Andrew since I was 19 years old. So to me, that was like my fighting mechanism. I was like, yeah, we don't agree. I'm going to give you the silent treatment for 3 days. And he was like, yes, this is glorious.
I am so upset. Okay.
I don't do it anymore.
But also silence is golden.
That's what I meant to say. Silence is powerful. Silence is golden.
Yeah, silence is powerful. It's certainly powerful. But I mean silence is golden and like take a moment to think about what you're going to say next.
Yes.
Versus just talking to talk. Not, I'm going to give you the silent treatment because I'm mad at you and you should just assume that you know how to fix the situation without me talking to you.
Yes, that was me in a nutshell.
Yeah, put your eyes away. She got very excited that I knew what she was talking about.
Because that is exactly why I would give the silent treatment. I'm like, you need to figure out how to fix this and assume you know what's going on in my head.
You still do that sometimes.
Did it yesterday.
Yeah, she does it to me a lot. Positive mindset. And that one's hard just because, but we're talking about communication in general. We're not talking about like anger and conflict. So smiling, having enthusiasm, i.e. an exclamation point, a period, an emoji. Or a sense of humor, adding some, fun little tidbits in there. I don't really know what that means, but that's okay. Be respectful. So you always want to have empathy, open mind, open heart with any type of communication. If you think your way is the only way, there's a different episode and podcast that you need to listen to first before you get to this one. And that just comes with understanding. So any type of communication, you have to understand a little bit of where the other person might be coming from. And if not, you ask those open-ended questions to figure it out.
Or you just have a sister that lives as the devil's advocate so that when you think you're super right, you have a sister that goes, well, let's look at the other side.
But that's not, see, devil's advocate only happens when it comes to you because you are always triggered and you always go to the
defense.
And nth degree?
I like nth.
10th degree? 9th degree?
8th? 7th of separation?
What about
7th inning stretch?
No, stop it. Nth degree. I think it's the nth degree. Cool. You always go to the extreme.
There you go.
Of defense mode and perceiving things in like a whoa, back off way.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Everybody needs somebody to back them off the ledge and
but
why don't you look at the other person's?
You're the only person I have to go, all right, hold on, Carly.
Our brother.
Yeah, that's true.
He is an extremist.
Yeah, I have a purpose in life, that's for sure. Keep learning and keep your curiosity and basically like interest, which means if you're meeting somebody new, find stuff out about them so that you can keep the communication lines open. That goes for business life, personal life, friendships, anything like that. Basically, this article is telling you to Facebook stalk them and find out all of their interests before they tell you so that you know what's going on. That's not actually true. Please don't do that. And then the last one is use people's names.
I read that and I was like, that's so silly. And then I started saying names out loud. And I was like, wow, that actually makes a huge difference.
I do think there is a way to overuse someone's name in conversation, though. I know someone specifically that
Oh, really?
says it almost at the end of every sentence that they say. And
Is
I'm
it
like, that
almost-
we know what my name is.
Is it like almost condescending?
No, it's almost, to me, it feels a little contrived. Like, oh, how are you doing today, Carly? You answer, oh, wow, Carly, that's really interesting. You answer,
it.
well, Carly. It's like, that's too much.
Yeah, it's too much.
It's too much. Remembering someone's name and letting them know that you remember them, that's enough. And then, you sprinkle it in there every now and then, but like after every sentence,
Yeah, don't do that.
back off a little.
Back off. Sorry, I was being Jack Black.
Step off.
Oh, step off. Step off.
Step off. So I think I want you to tell us about assertiveness.
Can't wait. Okay.
See what you took from all these articles.
Listen, assertiveness is the ability to express feelings, opinions, and it lies between passive aggressive communication and constructive boundaries. So I feel like assertiveness is a thin line, but it doesn't have to be that thin, as thin as I think it is in my mind.
Well, I don't know if the line is thin. You just are on one side or the other.
Right.
There's like no middle ground.
Because
You're either very confusing or you're so direct, you're aggressive.
right. And I want to be in the middle where I'm like, no, thank you. I don't want to do that, instead of saying,
But why'd you do it in your weird voice?
because that's how I would say it if I didn't really want to do it.
But don't we all have that? We have
Yeah.
a phone voice. We have a stranger voice. We have our regular, normal circle of people voice.
Mhm.
It's so funny that I think we all do that. I hear that for myself on the phone. I'm like, put your voice down. What are you doing?
Well, I think I know assertiveness comes from confidence. You
And
have
good self-esteem.
Right. You have to be super confident in what you want, which I think I know what I want. It's not the confidence I need. It's the feeling of hurting other people's feelings if I say no.
Well, yes. I'm working through that too. We have a bit of worrying about the other person first before ourselves. And that is where this becomes really challenging, because we've always put anybody else's feelings first and then thought about ours or the people in our circle. And that is why it's really hard to not feel guilty
Guilty. Yeah.
when you disappoint, quote unquote, I'm quoting that, somebody else with your answer of no, thank you. No, I don't want to do that. I'd rather do this.
Or
right?
I'm going to do this.
Or yes, this is what I want to do.
And I'm going to do it. And it's no big deal.
Those are boundaries.
Yeah.
Creating boundaries is tough
And there are
for
some
people pleaser.
golden rules to being assertive. And it's a lot like the communication skills. It's using I statements. I want to do this. I do not want to do this.
Right.
And it's your personal point of view. It's how you feel. Instead of going around it, you say, I want to do this.
And also, to be aggressive, you would say you.
Right.
That's where the difference is.
Right. Mm-hmm.
If you use you too much, then that's you're putting blame on somebody else, or you're giving them more judgment on their person versus like the behavior.
Mhm.
So you want to keep it to your perspective, your opinion, and not bite it so much.
Don't bite it.
Right.
That's true. The next golden rule is, just like Victoria said, state facts, not judgments. Don't judge, and speak from truths, speak from facts, and that's being direct.
Yeah.
I mean,
And if that's confusing, I think somewhere in there, if what you want to say or what you should be saying is you're being mean to me, that would be putting blame and saying the word you, and that could come across as aggressive. So I think the flip for the assertive version of that is, I feel like you're being really unkind to me right now in how you're talking.
mm-hmm.
And there's no confusion there. Because if you say you're being mean, they're like, I'm not being mean.
Right.
Why do you blah, 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 blah? But if you're like, what you're saying is really unkind to me and I don't appreciate how you're behaving. There's no mixed communication.
There's no
there.
question.
Mm-hmm.
Right, exactly. There's no mixed communication. And the last one is use open body language. So if stand up tall, open up your arms, don't cross your arms. I mean, literally Victoria is on the top of the Titanic right now.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, she was Rose and on the tip of the boat. But that's true because I am just thinking of the kids that I teach, and when I'm giving them a correction and they're standing with their arms folded, they clearly don't want to hear the correction or anything that I have to say, even if I'm saying good job.
Right.
Like their arms are folded, and that's a clear communication sign. And it's, you don't want to tell somebody you want to do something or you don't want to do something with your arms folded. That's mixed communication.
Right. Even if you're in a good mood and that's just something that's relaxing to you, because put your arms like that, your body language is saying something completely different from what your voice is saying.
Assertiveness is quite literally making the boundaries and then being confident enough to get your point across exactly like we said, without saying you. Even if you, in my mind, sometimes I'm like, oh, if I say, well, you wanted this is what you wanted, I'm doing what you wanted. That's not, you're putting it on them.
Right.
You're putting it on them. You have to reverse the situation, put it on yourself, and just, I mean, what's it called? The word of the day today is direct.
Yeah.
Not rude.
That's taking responsibility is what you're talking about, and not putting it on somebody else, because that gets aggressive, even if you don't mean it.
Aggressiveness comes from, I think, self-entitlement, and that is a big one. Like, I'm going to get this. I want it. I don't really care how I'm going to get it. I'm going to say what I think. And I think there's a difference between saying exactly how you feel and completely sugarcoating it. And that's where assertiveness comes across. Because if you're feeling a certain way about something, there are some people like Phoebe Buffet who can say, no, I don't want to. I don't feel like it. And then there's a way of sugarcoating it like me, who will say anything. I will dance around it because I don't want to hurt your feelings. And assertiveness goes right through the center.
Right. But the entitlement is aggressive, is what you were just talking about.
Yes.
That's, I think the aggressive part is when it's the type of people that say, I'm not mean, I'm just blunt.
That I don't think is fair. I don't think that's a fair statement.
I agree. I agree that I don't agree. Being blunt or being blunt is mean. Being direct is being assertive.
Right.
And there's a difference there. So if you're somebody that says, I'm not mean, I'm just blunt, well, guess what? You're rude.
You're rude.
There's a piece of being rude and a little unaware with that.
I read this. I'm going to read it to word for word. People misunderstand the meaning of assertiveness and mistake it for aggression or excessive dominance. In fact, assertiveness is a positive characteristic.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You want to teach and raise your children to be assertive. Get your point across, be respectful of whoever you're talking to, all at the same time.
Right.
To me, I just feel like it's not that hard.
I know, but just like if you're me and you're thinking of Busy Town, like it shouldn't be that way, but I think that's how like, this is a perfect example. And I do it. Like you say to your kids, oh, give them a hug. Give them a hug. Mm-hmm. Well, Melody doesn't want to give that person a hug because she doesn't know them. I do. So it's perfectly fine, but she doesn't. Mm-hmm. So then that is teaching her about the whole boundaries thing. And instead she could just say, you know what, Mom, I don't feel comfortable. And I would back off. I see myself doing that sometimes and I'm like, forget it.
She's not going to say that.
Right. I want them to learn that now.
Yeah, but don't you be the one to force that.
I'm testing them.
No.
No, but I'm saying I see myself do that and I'm like, shoot.
That's what Mom did.
I know. Because you don't have to hug everybody that you don't know if you don't feel comfortable. And I want them to be like assertive about standing their ground. And that's just a simple subject. I mean, there's simple example. There's so many other examples of things that we make our kids do that they don't want to do. And They shouldn't have to
Right.
do.
Right. There's a lot of things like what you're talking about at 38 and what I'm talking about at 35 that it comes out at that age
Right.
because of when you're 9 and 7 and 4 of things like that you weren't 100% taught how to do.
Right.
And that's hard.
So when Justin was here one time, I can't remember what episode it was, but he was saying that his kids are now openly talking to him about why they don't want to do something or why they feel uncomfortable because Justin and Abby ask them the questions. Like if you don't ask them questions, you say, like Dean says no to me all the time. Do I always say, but why, Dean? Explain to me why. No, not all the time. Because we're like, he doesn't want to put his coat on and it's 2 degrees. I'm like, I don't care. Put your coat on. But if you stopped for a second and said, okay, tell me the reasons why, it does make a little bit of a difference so that when they get older, they will come right out and say, well, this is why I feel this way, or this is why I don't want to do this.
Right.
But it takes repetition, it takes time, and a lot of people don't. It's frustrating sometimes.
Andrew does it.
Yes, and it's frustrating.
Because you want everything to be busy town and move really fast.
Yes.
So there's a difference. You do have to slow down to be like, what you're feeling is anger.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about it. And that's where I think they learn their emotions
Mm-hmm.
of like, I am feeling angry. This is what I've learned. This is what anger feels like. Or I've learned this is what, excitement feels like.
Right.
Like you're overexcited. I'm overexcited,
Well, Andrew lives on that straight, clear, direct path.
Yeah.
In a rocking chair with a piece of like hay in his mouth, and he's sitting on that rocking chair, and he's just like twiddling that piece of hay. And I'm in Busy Town, and that's we need to like curve it a little bit.
You need to get out of it. You need to take the road out of Busy Town, but he also needs to get a little bit more suburban.
Right.
Because he's in Beaumont and he needs to move in. You need to move out. Okay.
Beaumont? Where
the hell is Beaumont?
It's in Texas.
So it's true though. That's very true. I
Yeah.
think you have learned behaviors, which is a reason that you might have bad
Communication.
I don't want to say the word bad, but you have a lack of assertiveness.
Right.
It's a learned trait. So if your parents weren't assertive and they behaved in a certain way, you're born into that, right? So you are what you see a lot as a child.
So here's the thing. Mom always gets what she wants. She does. But she knows how to do it around in Busy Town by going around people's feelings. But I'm always like, Mom, why did you let this person get away with that? And she's like, I got it. You got to give a little and then ultimately I will get what I want. So I think that's how we were raised to like, ultimately we'll get what we want instead of I'm going to get what I want right now by being assertive. Like Mom goes around people's feelings. She's
passive.
And that's how I am.
Yes, but
not through text.
you are certainly not through text. You also are a lot of behaviors of Mom of say hi. Did you say hi?
Yes.
Mom, I love you. We talk to you about this all the time, so this isn't news to the world or to you, but
yeah,
even as adults, you walk into the room. Did you see this person? Say hi.
Yeah.
You do that.
Yes,
to
I
your
do.
kids.
I
and
do.
I'll go, Carly, she already said hi to me.
Yeah.
Or if I ask Melody a question, you answer.
Well, that's because I know the answer.
I don't want to talk to you any more than I have to. I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to hear from you. But that's true. And that's Carly. That's you being in Busy Town, not fully being in the moment of the room and wanting it to happen faster than it's happening or not paying attention.
Yeah.
I do the same thing. I just don't have kids to see it more often or
Right.
more directly like you have, passing down the trauma. There's a lot of reasons. I'm not going to list all of them, but like if you felt like your voice was silenced as a kid or you were ignored or misunderstood, if you just constantly had those Busy Town irrational thoughts,
Which it's a fun town. It's really fun.
Necessarily from your parents. That's just like kind of how your brain is wired.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's like a learned trait, or if it's a learned behavior from your parents or your guardians, whoever you got brought up with. Stressful life events, no actual like positive feedback as a kid. Any of those are reasons why you might be a more passive person as an adult.
Right.
And there's like a ton more on that list, but like those are the easiest ones to kind of, I think they're common.
Mm-hmm.
But you can retrain your brain. You can. You do not have to live passively forever. You can be assertive. You have to work for it, though. You have to try, and you have to work for it.
I think that some of you might be getting stuck on the word passive, meaning...
Well, passive aggressive is what you're thinking.
No,
probably.
no. Passive meaning it doesn't really bother you. You sort of just let people walk all over
That's
you.
indifferent.
That's indifferent, correct. Because when you were saying passive, I was like, I am not passive. Like, I don't let people walk all over me. That's not actually what we're talking about.
Right.
Yeah.
Indifferent. Is kind of dismissive of like, eh.
Yeah.
But passive and assertive are opposites.
Right.
Yeah.
Got it.
But how do you train your brain? You do what you're doing right now. You become aware of it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Having awareness is the first step.
Wanting to change.
And wanting to change,
Yeah.
but you have to take action. You can't just like want it into effect, right? So then positive self-talk. That's a big one.
Mm-hmm.
Because it comes from negative self-talk.
Are you looking at me?
Yeah, I'm looking right at you.
Oh, okay.
Negative self-talk is like that guilt of like, why I can't say this to make the other person feel better.
Right.
And like you have this like negative thought pattern of why being assertive is too much or why being assertive is too aggressive.
Right.
Or why, right? So there's this positive talk that has to happen to build the confidence.
Right.
And then the assertiveness comes from
from
confident. So it's not that you have a low self-esteem. Clearly, have you seen any of Carly's outfit choices? She is a very confident person on her superficial. On her mental,
I don't want to hurt my mental problem is that I just don't want to hurt anybody's feelings.
you have to be okay with disappointing people.
Yeah.
And you have to be okay with people not liking your answers.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to move on.
And that's how you be assertive. So it's that easy, guys. Podcast over.
Guess what? Therapy.
Oh, damn it.
Therapy, because cognitive behavioral therapy, which is talk therapy, a therapist is going to help you talk about your emotions of what's wrapped around certain situations. They're going to help you analyze the irrational thoughts that you're thinking in your head. And then you'll find that path out of busy town because you're like, oh, that's what that means for me. Why do I think that? Why do I go there?
Right.
And they will openly, because all a therapist is open-ended questions so that you talk your way into what you know. I mean, my therapist doesn't give me any piece of advice. She doesn't give me advice.
Ask you questions. I would not do well.
She asked, but it's because I have word vomit, and then she's like, "Oh, well, where did that come from? Why did you think that?" And I will figure it out and say it out loud without thinking, because I don't have time to think. I'm just talking, and then I'm like, "Oh my God, that's what I can't believe I was thinking that."
Is that what we're not doing right now? Is why would I pay somebody else to do that? That's what we're doing every week.
In any case. No, it's truly, that's a good therapist. They also, they give tools as well.
Oh,
so
yeah.
she'll give you like, when you go into this event that you're worried about, try doing what we just said and try doing that. And then that's where, not just.
Oh yeah.
asking
I'm
questions
just
comes into play.
kidding. Victoria is nowhere close to being a therapist. She doesn't help me at all. So.
Okay. Well, we are going to move on into Carly's only way to communicate, which is games.
We're going to play 2 communication games. Are you ready?
So ready.
Okay. The first one is called Taboo.
Okay.
Okay.
Ooh, do I get to a buzzer?
You don't. It's called, there you go. There's your buzzer.
Okay.
So I sent you a picture.
I haven't looked at them.
Okay. You
Okay.
can.
Okay.
Look and pick one word at a time. It's playing Taboo. You have to describe the word to me without saying the word.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Communication game number 1, really fun to play with your friends, fun to play in the workplace if you're trying to, open up the lines of communication.
Okay.
Okay. Billy, stop sign, college,
Criminal.
sort of, action.
Running.
He did.
Jail.
Yes, but police, action.
Arrested.
Yes.
Wow. We'll get better.
Okay. Sorry, Billy.
Yeah, we won't tell you anything about that. None of us, we are not letting you in on what she was just saying. Figure it out.
No, I literally said police, stop sign, college. You can figure it out. Go.
Yeah. Okay. Sephora.
Makeup.
Okay.
Did I get it?
Yep.
I'm an amazing communicator.
Yeah.
Die.
That's it.
Dirt. Headstone.
Grave.
Yes.
Okay. So men usually have this, definitely in the 70s.
You want me to say it?
Yeah. I do.
You said men usually have this.
Oh my God.
It's on their face.
Beard. Goatee.
It's
mustache.
Okay.
Not your knee, but not your toes.
Your shin. Tibia.
Lower.
Ankle.
Yes.
We are not good at this. We're not describing things. We are just
not
hopefully figuring it out.
Not good communicators. Okay, last one. Bath, kids, shampoo.
Hygiene.
No. Fun.
You've already said bath, so I can't say bath time.
Right. Circle, shampoo.
A pool?
In the bath.
Circle.
Okay, I'm going to go with a different direction.
Jacuzzi?
Smack.
What?
Lips.
Are you eating in the shower?
This one's horrible. It's so easy.
I think you're okay. Give me one more before I fail.
Babe Ruth.
What? You need to Babe Ruth with your children more in the bath and eat?
Smack, circle, shampoo. Everyone's screaming this right now.
Exfoliate?
Rhymes with schmubble.
Bubble? What?
How would you have described bubble? If you can't say gum, soap, blow, or pop.
Where's Babe Ruth in this?
In the movie Sandlot, he had you got a piece of gum when you bought his card, and Babe Ruth has a kind of gum.
I would like to tell you that I am angry. That is my communicative emotion right now.
I feel great. Next game.
Hurry
It's called
up.
Rapid Fire
Great.
Communication Station. Okay? Quickly answer the question, and you get to know a lot about their deepest, darkest secrets. I will never finish the sentence. I will never.
Oh, okay. So the rules are to finish the sentence. First of all, that's a piece of communication you did not say, that I have to finish the sentence of the things that are about to come out of your mouth.
Communication Station, finish the sentence. I will never
Do this with you ever again.
You won't find me.
Here on the couch with you tomorrow.
I'll never throw out.
My dog.
I knew you were going to say that. I knew you were going to say that. God,
She was right here. I didn't know what else to
so
say.
dumb. I have never.
Jumped out of a plane.
I'll never be into.
You.
I'll always be into.
Me.
Catch me outside doing.
Walking.
Catch me outside. In case I go missing,
Don't call Carly.
I won't answer. I very much dislike.
Starbucks.
I love.
Voila!
Guess what? You're a good communicator.
Well, once I learned the rules. So we want to thank all of you for coming to Carly's therapy session times 66.
Period.
If you've learned nothing else today, we always want you to remember how hard my life is and that we are all fit to be real.
And always allowed to be a little extra. Get the
Hell out of here. For legal reasons, we have to tell you that this podcast is meant for entertainment and educational purposes only. We are not healthcare professionals. For all of your health, wellness, fitness, and self-care needs, please refer to the medical professional in your life, your primary care physician, your therapist, a certified coach, whoever it may be. And then let us know what they say, because I guarantee we need to know it too. Okay? Okay, bye.